welcome to the Pole Shift. We're going to quickly go over a few things that have happened in 2016 with the progress of monitoring the magnetic North Pole. Before we do, as usual, big thanks to those people that have supported the channel over the last few weeks. There's only a few of you, as always, but nevertheless, completely appreciated. So, one other thing I noticed on a few of the comments that have been put on a few of the videos recently, and that is that we're spreading some form of fear porn on this channel. It's incredible. It really is, guys. You know, what you're looking at on the screen is not going to be shown to you by any other organisation on this planet. And the reason for that is because they very likely haven't made the same correlations as what we have on this channel. Remember, they're scientists from all these organisations, and you're listening right now to a scientist, and I'm giving you my unbiased opinion. I'm not paid by any of these organisations to say anything at all with relations to the climate, the pole shift, and anything else that we talk about on this channel. But the point is this: if I did work for those organisations, do you think they would appreciate me revealing my theories on this channel in the way I do? They'd shut it down. They'd say it's not in line with what your work is with this organisation, and we don't feel it in anybody's interest that you do this. It'd be stopped. You know that, guys. I'm crowd-funded by you guys, and I share the same interest as what you guys do. The map that we're looking at is these two maps: the temperature chart on the left on the weather modelling program, and the magnetic anomaly chart on the right, are showing something very similar. And it's by no coincidence that they do show this. And for people like, say, in England at the moment, on the magnetic anomaly chart, you can see that it's in between the two strongest magnetic plumes over the northern hemisphere. And on the weather chart, you can see in the same region, the UK, is in slightly warmer conditions compared to that over the left side of the hemisphere and the right side of the hemisphere. I also stated that the reasons for this is because where those magnetic poles are, or those field lines, are more increased in strength, you're going to get colder regions, and that's why we see on the weather modelling program those two colder regions. Where it's purple, it is in sub-zero temperatures right now. And the reason why we've been looking at this over the last few months is because the Earth is at an angle furthest away from the sun at this point in time. We've just passed the winter solstice, and it is by no coincidence that we have a magnetic North Pole in the Arctic Circle. So, what I'm saying to you guys is that this isn't fear porn. This is fear fact, if you want, or not even the fear at all. You don't have to be frightened of what you're looking at. It does give you a heads up as to what is to come. And these are, at the end of the day, changes taking place with the planet that we live on. And if these changes continue in the fashion that they are, there are going to be, massive implications for the people that live on this planet, and there already has. And it's not just the human activity, as I covered in the last video, that is affecting it. It is actual these geological changes, and it's very serious, guys. Absolutely, very, very serious. Because when the climate shifts, it affects everything. It affects those things that are closest to us, such as, let me just get rid of that, such as the way we produce our food on this planet. And already, to date, some of these countries in the world that we live in cannot produce crops because of the conditions of the climate right now. And it is speculated on this channel that the reason why the climate is shifting, and more recently so, and I think that these two maps that we're looking at right now prove that fact, right, is because the poles are migrating, and they have been doing so for the last 100 years. Now, these organisations will freely admit that, we are in a magnetic pole shift. But what is unclear to them is what is to take place, or should we say at least they're not divulging what is going to take place during this magnetic pole shift. And the reason for that is because, it was 780,000 years ago that this rare event happened last. And there are no records, no recorded records of this. And I've also said something else that these organisations, such as NASA, NOAA, the ESA, etc., have not said. And that is, not only are we going through a pole shift, and going through one in a time period of, the last one taking place of 780,000 years ago, is that we are actually going through a unique pole shift. And this pole shift cannot be categorized with any other previous pole shift other than the fact that, yes, the poles will reverse. The difference is that it's taken nearly 500,000 years more for this one to take place, because on average they used to take place every 350,000 years. This one is different, and noticeably different. And what I propose is that something different is going to take place during this magnetic pole shift. And, we should be paying more attention to it. We just simply should be paying more attention to it, because we have looked at Mars. We've seen what happens when a planet loses its magnetic poles and the effect that it has on its planet with regards to stripping away its protective shield. The magnetosphere on Mars is gone. The atmosphere on Mars has gone, and all the liquid water on Mars has gone. And if that, to some people, frightens them, then, I can only apologise for that. I'm just saying that in these similar circumstances of when a planet has lost these things, the end result is the way it looks today. The end result of the Earth losing its magnetic field could, dictate that this planet may look like Mars. The only other thing is to say is, well, when will that take place? Well, we're in the magnetic pole shift, and we don't know how long it takes for these poles to reverse. I've heard rumours come out of these organisations that it could be thousands of years away, and I don't think that that is the case. I've invested a lot of time in this. I've actually done some experiments which shows slightly different things to what is being said by these organisations, such as you won't hear these organisations talking about strong and weak field lines, with relationship to the Earth's poles. Well, I just generalise the Earth's poles as a magnet. I've showed you through magnetic viewers how you end up with similar patterns, such as what we're looking at on the magnetic anomaly chart on the right. And I've proposed that the poles are breaking apart, and it does simply look like that is the case. For some continents and countries, it's going to feel like, wherever, depending that magnetic field line is stronger, that you might be going through colder periods on this planet. And in some circumstances, especially for the UK, it's going to seem like we are definitely seeing the signs of global warming. And this is because, we ain't being told the truth about, the relationship to the magnetic field and climate. We've been told that CO2 is responsible for, heating this world up to the extent that it has, heating the oceans up, but that is not the truth of the case. The case is this, is that where the strongest magnetic fields are on this planet will dictate where the coldest regions are, and where they're not, you're going to end up with the warmest climates. It should come as no surprise to people that the equatorial region on this planet is the warmest region. And that is because the poles are furthest away from that. The coldest regions on this planet are the Antarctic and the Arctic circles. And that is because the poles are in these regions. Now, it should come as no surprise to anybody that when the poles migrate, they will take those colder climates with it. And in doing so, will create climate change in those regions where the magnetic poles migrate over them. Now, for the last 100 years, the poles have been migrating very slowly. But as they've been doing so, they've been picking up speed. Around about 3 different speed shifts we've noted since tracking the North Pole over the last 100 years, where the poles cover more distance in less time. And more recently so, only within the last 2 years, we've noticed that there was a neat pattern up until 2014 where it was a single vector heading directly towards Siberia. And now we have seen the poles divert from that line and migrate, southerly off that line. So things are changing, and changing more recently. Not only did we see the speed shifts over the last 100 years, but in the more recent years we have seen them divert off that line. And to me, this is an indication that we are rapidly approaching a point in time where the magnetic poles will be leaving those strong field lines, where they migrate slower, and entering the weak field lines, where they migrate a lot faster. And that's what we've got more to come. And it is going to shift the climate on this planet. It is going to change, the temperatures of the oceans. But not only that, guys, not only that, we are facing a time now, and I'm going to show you, where we are going through something other than this, which also has an effect on the climate. And this is why it's so difficult to predict, or forecast for many years what the temperature is going to be like, because there is more than one thing at hand there. And if you're not playing all these things into, if you're not putting all these things into play in order to predict the outcome for, a good forecast for the future of climate on this planet, then you're going to end up with something ambiguous. It's going to be incorrect. And right now, these organisations that receive millions and millions of pounds in taxpayers' money are not doing just the simple things, that we are discussing and talking about on this channel. And that's why, this channel's different to any other. That's why the research that takes place is different to any other organisation. It's not only we are putting the pieces better together and coming up with some better results than what some of these organisations are, regardless of the amount of cash that they have, is that we seem to have a better idea of what's causing these events. Also, and, these things that I show people seem to be, more explanatory, to say the least. If we just take a look at the sunspot numbers recently, just over this month, you'll see that they're again on the decline. And we've noted, I'll just bring it up, we've noted that when these sunspots go into decline and for long periods of time, it also has an effect on the global temperature. Let's bring that up. So you can see we have two big dips recorded in our history where, the temperature's declined. It just so happens that the numbers of sunspots during these periods of times also declined. And, here's the thing, guys, here's the proof, right? That what they're saying about CO2 is just simply not true about causing global warming. Because if we go back to the Maunder minimum, which was described as the Little Ice Age for a period of around 50 odd years, we note that it began to increase in global temperatures from the 1700s. Now, our CO2 global warmist people claim that it is us that's responsible for causing global warming, and that from the Industrial Revolution of 1760, we started to emit into the atmosphere more CO2, which has led to this global warming. Now, first of all, just so that I'm aware of what causes, this effect that they're talking about. It's a trimolecule, a molecule that consists of three atoms. So, CO2 is one of these things, but there are many other trimolecules in our atmosphere that cause it, and the most abundant one is water, simply H2O, and yet they completely omit that when they're talking about the global warming. We have factored in H2O in our climate analogy or what we've researched. We've not omitted that at all. But the big point here is, and I don't want to miss the big point, is what caused the Earth to heat up from the 1700s to the 1750s. Because, let's face it wasn't in the industrial period for at least another 10 or so years. At least another 60 years. Well, it's simple. You can see it yourself. Sunspots started to increase, the activity of the sun picked up, and therefore brought us out the Maunder minimum. It wasn't the Industrial Revolution that brought us out the Maunder minimum. It was the natural effects of what happens in solar planetary mechanics. And we can see that even on this scale, that towards 2000, the numbers are dropping off. If I pull up another chart, you'll see a little bit more clear. So you can see where 2015 is. It puts us almost in the maximum period where we should be receiving more sunspots. But as I've just showed you, we're seeing hardly any sunspots on the disk at all. So there is something seriously affecting the sun's ability to push out more numbers of sunspots. And as you can see through the last 3 solar cycles, there has been a nice decline of these. So we are going back in the direction of something similar to what we saw back in the Maunder minimum. And that is just with what is causing, the sun to go through its changes and the effects that it will have on climate on this planet. And that's without factoring in that this Earth, this time round, is also going through a magnetic pole reversal. We have two things affecting the climate on this planet, and neither one of those are CO2. And, you're seeing the evidence on this channel being presented to you in this way that shows that. Mainstream media won't touch this, and your so-called scientists that swear, to do the best for mankind are not revealing it within these big organisations. And that, to me, is not fear porn, guys. That is worrying, because they are probably in the knowledge of something a little bit more than what we are. And, we may have speculated on this channel, but they may have at their disposal, the real outcomes of what is going to take place on this planet. And, it is going through these changes right now. So I'm going to leave it here, guys, I think. It's not about fear porn. If the data takes what it dictates, then that's the way it is. Sadly, you have to like it or lump it. You have the opportunity to turn off the channel if you don't want to hear it. If you don't really want to know what are more likely the causes of the climate on this planet and what the effects of these causes are, then, that is up to you. But I just want to, before I leave this video here, I just want to show you something else which is pretty alarming. So let's do that just before I end the video. So like I said, guys, just before I round off, one more important fact that you're not being told by your mainstream organisations that should be revealing this information, because how more important is it that we have lost 2 jet streams on this planet? And it looks like it does right now. These 2 main bands that you see on the planet are an amalgamation of the polar jet stream and the subtropical jet stream. If you look at the chart just down below, you should see that around 60 degrees north and 60 degrees south we should have 2 jet streams, and these should be our polar jet streams. And around 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south we should have another 2 jet streams, which make up the 2 jet streams both over the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Those jet streams that are not there are the subtropical jet streams. What you have is simply an amalgamation right now of the 2 polar and subtropical jet streams, and that's what's causing these weather anomalies that we're experiencing in some regions. Severe droughts, the monsoon seasons are late, crop failures as a result. It's a serious topic, guys, but they are not telling you about this. You're not hearing the weather reporter discuss this, and yet he's standing in front of a chart, with this blatantly in view in some reports, and failing to even mention the fact that there is an amalgamation between the 2 jet streams right now. What does this mean? It means that sub-zero temperatures are colliding with tropical temperatures. It's no wonder we're getting the floods and the extreme weathers we are. But what has caused this? Well, it's simply, the thing that keeps these jet streams in their places under normal circumstances would be the magnetic north and south pole. It's no coincidence that they align themselves up with the poles in the way in which they do. Again, it's no coincidence that they're at 30 degrees and 60 degrees, and as a result of that, 90 degrees is exactly where we get the poles. Now, I don't want to go all spooky on us, right? But Nikola Tesla said to us, didn't he? If we figure out what the relevance of the 3, 6, and 9 is, we're going to understand or have the keys to this universe. And it does seem that is the case. Just look at where, during solar maximum, the sunspots are on the sun. And when we're in a minimum, where are the sunspots? It's by no coincidence, is it? He obviously understood a little bit more than what he may have even revealed with regards to these mathematical numbers that he mentioned regularly. And I think that's it, guys, for this side of the Christmas. There's a little recap on just a few of the serious things that are taking place. by all means, we're not trying to frighten people on this channel. We're trying to educate them as to what is going on, and I think we're doing a more honest job of that, of what some of the main organisations are, and some of what these climatologists are actually revealing as to what is going on this planet. And I dare say that is why a few people now and then feel that it is worth funding this research, and therefore they make a donation of some sort on this channel. And it's never been mandatory. I've never said, look, the polls are going to, the videos are going to stop unless we start getting some funding. I just make do with what I get. So I'll mention the link down there. By all means, the more help we get, the more we can do on this channel. And you already know what we're trying to do with regards to actually taking it upon ourselves to monitor it with the equipment that we've built. We've built our own equipment to monitor the magnetosphere strength, which is weakening. We've built the equipment to track the magnetic North Pole. We're giving them a run for their money. They've got unlimited sources, to, invest in whatever they feel fit. They've got programmers, they've got a whole range of people and professionals that they can apply. At the end of the day, there's just me on this channel, and what have I done? I've designed, programmed, and built my own equipment, and that has been with the little bit of help from the crowdfunding that we've received. That's what we can do on this channel, and we're doing we are doing a really good job. And I just hope that we go from strength to strength. Look at the subscribers. The subscribers on this channel have gone up in the last couple of months. Nearly 2,000. We're over 10,000 subscribers now. So we are, getting the information out there to those people. On average, we usually achieve around about 60,000 views on the channel a month. So we're not doing a bad job, really. Word is getting out. And that's what we're trying to do at the end of the day, inform people, not frighten them. Although some of the effects of what we see are more than frightening to some of these people that actually experience them. I've told you before, guys, it's wrong what's going on in the Middle East. People are losing their lives, and they're not prepared. Sometimes we can make, just put a bit of information out there that they might stumble on. They might tell people in their community that this could be on the cards. During these winter periods when, these sub-zero temperatures are dipping well close to the equatorial regions. We've seen it ourselves, haven't we? Islands that have experienced snow for the first time, so that's devastated the complete crop, killed the cattle. Not small quantities either. Thousands of hectares and millions, well, not millions, but, hundreds of thousands of heads of cattle gone as a result. It's serious. It will have an effect on the rest of the world, these losses. So it's a serious topic that we discuss on this channel, and it's not about frightening people or anything else. Guys, on another note, it is the season for being jolly, isn't it? So I wish you the best Christmas you could possibly have, and I'll definitely see you in the new year. And we've got a lot planned for 2017 on this channel. So I want to thank you for your subscription. I want to thank those people for supporting the channel with a contribution, and I'll catch you up in 2017. And I hope you have the best Christmas ever with you and your family. Take care. Link down below if you want to support, and as always, guys, bye for now. Hi guys, welcome to the Pole Shift. We're going to quickly go over a few things that have happened in 2016 with the progress of monitoring the magnetic North Pole. Before we do, as usual, big thanks to those people that have supported the channel over the last few weeks. There's only a few of you, as always, but nevertheless, completely appreciated. So, one other thing, I noticed on a few of the comments that have been put on a few of the videos recently, and that is that we're spreading some form of fear porn on this channel. It's incredible. It really is, guys. What you're looking at on the screen is not going to be shown to you by any other organisation on this planet. And the reason for that is because they very likely haven't made the same correlations as what we have on this channel. Remember, they're scientists from all these organisations, and you're listening right now to a scientist, and I'm giving you my unbiased opinion. I'm not paid by any of these organisations to say anything at all with relations to the climate, the pole shift, and anything else that we talk about on this channel. But the point is this: if I did work for those organisations, do you think they would appreciate me revealing my theories on this channel in the way I do? They'd shut it down. They'd say it's not in line with what your work is with this organisation, and we don't feel it in anybody's interest that you do this. It'd be stopped. You know that, guys. I'm crowd-funded by you guys, and I share the same interest as what you guys do. The map that we're looking at is these two maps: the temperature chart on the left on the weather modelling program and the magnetic anomaly chart on the right are showing something very similar, and it's by no coincidence that they do show this. And for people like, say, in England at the moment, on the magnetic anomaly chart, you can see that it's in between the two strongest magnetic plumes over the northern hemisphere. And on the weather chart, you can see in the same region, the UK is in slightly warmer conditions compared to that over the left side of the hemisphere and the right side of the hemisphere. I also stated that the reasons for this is because where those magnetic poles are, or those field lines, are more increased in strength, you're going to get colder regions, and that's why we see on the weather modelling program those two colder regions. Where it's purple, it is in sub-zero temperatures right now. And the reason why we've been looking at this over the last few months is because the Earth is at an angle furthest away from the sun at this point in time. We've just passed the winter solstice, and it is by no coincidence that we have a magnetic North Pole in the Arctic Circle. So, what I'm saying to you guys is that this isn't fear porn. This is fear fact, if you want, or not even the fear at all. You don't have to be frightened of what you're looking at. It does give you a heads up as to what is to come. And these are, at the end of the day, changes taking